Hello, y'all. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Live Show. I'm Bob, your host. And what a fabulous Tuesday this has been. And we hope it's been a great one for you, too. The countdown is on. And at this point, we only have 48 days to Christmas. That's right, 48 days. Man, here at TNL Productions and the Tuesday Night Live Show, tonight's show will be episode 41 and is our Tuesday Night Live special presentation season ending finale. We want to also mention we're celebrating our 120th Tuesday Night Live show in just 3 seasons. That is a very proud milestone for all of us here in the family. The opening of tonight's show is brought to you by Set Bob's Professional Technical Training School for Christmas Entertainers. The legend lives on. This is Tuesday Night Live. Welcome back. It's hard to believe that both our show seasons have come to an end once again. The more we share, the better we all become. Both our shows deliver great content week in and week out, which helps us all be better at our craft. You know who else makes us better? That's right, the man with the long trailers, a storefront lit up like Christmas 365 days a year, and has all the goodies we need to perform as the Clauses. Yep, I'm speaking about Spangle.
Hello, everybody. Yes, hello, hello. Sorry, I was feeling a little blue today, and I think it's just coming out of me a little bit. Being our last episode, it just kind of. So, anyways, but this is not our last episode. This is just a break, and then we're coming back in February. So, hey, set your clocks, set your thing. We'll be back.
That's right. It's
And
just
they
the
can
end of the
always go
year.
back and rewatch some of the episodes they missed or ones they want to, catch up on again.
That's right. That's right. If you're jonesing for the Tuesday Night Live or the Monday Show, jump over on YouTube and or our Facebook group and catch them. They're there for your convenience, just whenever.
Well,
I think
not
though,
if you're Jones, not if you're Jonesing, man. If you're Clausen.
there you go. Hey, though, seriously, uh, it's been a great, third season. Absolutely. Could not ask for a better round three, if you want to call it that. And we will be back in February and got some new things planned for the new season. So that's going to be exciting. We'll talk more about that later. Also, always a crowd favorite just because she knows how to keep the rest of us here at TNL in the spotlight with her production skills. Angela Mack over here in the corner. You too want to be too cool for school? Check out fancylees.com for all our exclusive TNL swag. Get over and spend some money with those folks. Buy some Christmas presents. They make great stocking stuffers and presents to put under the tree. All right, Angela, over to you.
Hey,
As we
over
mentioned,
there on that Fancy Lee Productions, I know we have a lot of viewers that are watching the show. And if they're stumped on what to get me for Christmas, just get a hold of me. I can give you my Fancy Lee wish list.
yeah, there you go, guys. Everyone reach out and find out what Spangle wants this year. We mentioned a moment ago about watching us recorded and or live if you're here during the show when it's on live. But you can catch us over on your big screen as we just showed. The Tuesday Night Live Show 1225 over on YouTube. The Tuesday Night Live Show Facebook group. Either way, go over and you don't want to miss a single episode. You just don't. So subscribe, like, comment, share. All those things help both platforms recognize it. You want to see more of what we're putting out and help put the word out so everyone else will see it. That way, more folks will come in and join us for the fun. The first half of the Tuesday Night Live Show trivia is brought to you by School of Santa's 2024, hosted by Spangle in picturesque Ozark Mountains, Branson, Missouri, in July, where fun and education meet.
The first half of tonight's Tuesday Night Live Show is brought to you by SchoolofSantas.com. Kick off your 2024 season with inspiration from the School of Santas, an annual premier educational opportunity where fun and education meet, and is held each year the third weekend in July in scenic Branson, Missouri. School of Santas prides itself in bringing in a variety of new instructors and presenters each year, which makes this school unique in the Christmas community, offering quality education, training, and fun. This year included in your tuition, for only $459, is 4 days of classes, Thursday through Sunday, and 4 fun nights of entertainment. 2 of these are in-house, along with 2 Branson theater shows, where the class can enjoy time out on the town. Also included is a 4x6 graduation photo with the keynote instructor, and a digital group photo. We kick off both nights with a parade, our annual School of Santa's tribute to Daisy May. All meals provided during class served in-house include a total of 4 dinners and 3 lunches. And breakfast is also included if staying at the host hotel. To close out the weekend, we have the Sunday graduation reception with Elvis entertaining on stage. We also have our expanded StuffForSanta.com mobile store in-house all weekend along with other select premier vendors. Remember, School of Santa's Branson, Missouri is where fun and education meet. For more information, or to reserve your educational, fun vacation in Branson, contact Tanya Lay at 1-800-432-4202 or email Tanya at bransonticket.com. Hotel rooms are not included in the price. Reservations for your room at the American by Wyndham Branson and Conference Center can be made at the time of registration. Remember to contact Tanya at 1-800-432-4202 before it's too late. Now, back to tonight's show.
All right, we want to get your name in the hat for where you can be there at the school. Okay, so trivia. Last year, a time-honored holiday tradition came to an end. These holiday classics will not make a return to television screens in 2023. The exclusive rights to the franchise was purchased in 2020. Blank will be the only platform airing the classic movies. Name the blank blank films and the platform that now air them. All right, so last year a time-honored holiday tradition came to an end. These holiday classics will not make a return to television screens in 2023. The exclusive rights to the franchise was purchased in 2020. Blank will be the only platform airing the classic movies. Name the blank blank films and the platform that air them.
Yeah, we got a couple of easy ones tonight. This one was a little bit harder, only because I kept it vague. I didn't want to give away too much here. This one they're going to have to do a little bit of digging, but I think they'll be able to find it. So get your fingers working, see what you can dig up there, and
let's get on with this tonight, huh? We got a lot to do, huh? And and I think Angela can take care of that in the background while we move on. Absolutely. All right, Bob, let's throw this sled in high gear and introduce our first guest. Season 3 kicked off with a 2018 Hall of Fame inductee And we know from the get-go we wanted to start the season off with him. He has become a big part of the TNL Productions team, and we are blessed to have him. Please welcome Season 3 opener and Episode 1 featured guest, Mr. Santa Rex Ray.
Hello, 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 everyone. It's so great
Hi,
to be back on the
Rex.
show.
Gosh,
And-
man, I know you've already started to work. You've been busy, not only doing photo work, but the big box tour. So how's your season going?
Well, my season started about the middle of September with photo sessions all the way through October. And yep, first weekend in November, I'm at that big box sporting goods store right here in Tallahassee, Florida. It's my 9th year doing the big box sporting goods store. It's my 12th year with Nationwide Santas, and Gina. I'm member number 4. I've been with her a long time, and it's actually my 8th year at this very store. So it's always good to be back in the chair.
It's been a blessing for you. I know it's anywhere, anytime you can find a home that you can stay at and build clientele, get to see the kiddos grow up. It's a blessing for sure. Now, I also want to mention that you are also one of our instructors for Santa in the Business of Being Santa. You are our East Coast instructor. Folks, coming up in the new year, we know we've also got MP Cornerstones, Norfolk Cornerstones. Rex is also a partner in that with us. And we just want everyone to know, either get out to Cornerstones, or if you can't make that, get in touch with Rex and set up a class in your area on the East Coast, because he can teach you a bunch of good stuff. He's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, and I was honored to attend the class many years ago, a class instructed by Gordon himself out at one of Gina's get-togethers in Las Vegas. And it's been a real honor to become a part of the team. And I got to do that before Gordon passed away, and he and I spent many, many hours on the phone talking about the direction that he kind of wanted to see things go, and the things ideas I had. So I'm looking forward to getting it going good next year.
Well, you have a something that you and most Santas in the whole Santa community have something in common. Spending many hours on the phone with Gordon.
It's hard to spend a few with Gordon. That's true.
It really was. All right, so Rex is part of the TNL production crew. Also, as we mentioned, a big part of everything that we do. Great friend. Love you, man. Just want you to know that before we move on here. But he's going to hang out with us throughout the whole show. He's got the night off, and he said he would just come in and hang and be part of it. He's going to speak up if he, finds something he wants to talk about. So we're going to move along. Got a lot to cover tonight.
One more thing real quick, too. Rex has become a part of the SOS, too, a lot.
That's absolutely right. We kind of tied it to hip. SOS, Tuesday Night Live, Sat Bob's, even Cornerstones. I mean, we are one great big family here, and we try to help each other out. And so, Rex, we could not have done SOS any better this year. Rex was such a great asset. So, want to let everyone know that also. Okay, so we do have a lot to cover. Episode 2, we also had another TNL crew member as our first guest. She is a contributor to the show, a contributor of trivia questions and giveaways, as well as being a frequent guest on our panel. We were going to bring Jessica in right here, but she said, hey, just wait and bring me in later on in the show when she has some stuff to do in the second half of the show. So we're going to move along, and she'll be in with us shortly. So episode 3, we had a couple that our viewers fell in love with. I mean, everyone fell in love with this couple. We've had them on the show numerous times in the last 2 seasons. We caught up with them in Gatlinburg, where we did a fantastic interview with them. We were our guest judges last week for the Halloween show. What a fantastic show. So much fun. They always bring such energy. That was Eric and Moesha Elliott.
Eric and Mo are just some special folks. They really are. It's absolutely amazing. And guys like me that have been doing this a long time are just tickled to our heart's core to see folks come in with that much energy and that much get up and go ready to take on this industry.
And she has now became Eric's little Q-tip. I talked to them today on video, and she wanted her hair to match her husband's hair now. So she's got this big puffy white hair now.
Oh wow.
She said
Too funny.
she was doing this all day.
They are such a lovely couple, fun to be with, fun to hang out with, and they have just stepped up the ladder so fast. They are remarkable for their starting their third season. So, all right, Spangle, over to you.
All right, episode 4. Another return guest was Larry Talbert, who always kept us up with the latest in the insurance need to know and magic props for the clauses. Talbert's Insurance Services and Santa Magic.
That's right. And if you did not catch that show, you missed a lot. Go ahead, Spangle.
Yeah, what's really cool about his insurance too is if you get his insurance, and it covers you like a lot of the insurances do, but automatically you have $5,000 covering your suits and everything, which is unheard of.
He offers packages that no one else in the industry is offering, and you know, the insurance is exactly what it says. It insures you in case of something happening, and we all know if it can, it will.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, most of us have been buying insurance for years, and the insurance we've been able to buy has been tailored to fit the people that we contract to. The big box sporting goods store, the malls, it's what they demanded to have. Finally, somebody like Larry came along, and Larry's the guy that did it, gave us the insurance we actually need that covers just more than our liability when we're at these stores.
Yeah, and like my insurance policy, because I have him as my insurance agent, both at my school and also privately as my Santa business, but it covers me, it covers my Mrs. Claus, and it covers my elf with just the one payment that covers me. And I can carry up to 2 more people on my policy, no extra charge.
That's what I say. It's great to have an agent that's serving us, not the people we're working for.
Thank you, Larry.
Absolutely. And thanks for all the great magic stuff, Larry.
Yeah.
The stuff I got from you this year was a huge hit at the photo session.
All right, episode 5, another favorite to the show, and someone we call on if we ever need a last-minute fill-in, an agent that is highly respected and a darn good businesswoman and a pretty good poker player. Nationwide Santa's Gina Bacon.
That's right. And, Gina has told us, starting back in season 1, hey, guys, if you ever have someone cancel or something goes wrong and you don't have a guest, just holler at me. I'll stop what I'm doing to come in. And she has done that time and time again for us, and always such fun to have her on. Do you already have that queued up, Angie?
That's ready.
All right, let's go ahead and play a real quick video from her that she sent me this morning from her and the girls.
Go ahead.
I wish you a Merry Christmas.
We 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 wish you a Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year.
Hey, I hate to break all you guys' hearts and everything, but I posted this picture on Facebook the other day, me and Santa Dave from Ozark in one of the stores, and Gina's comment, my 2 favorite Santas. Sorry, guys.
I get the same comment from her all the time, though, Spangle.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'll tell you the other thing. Of all the agents that put us out to work, I think she's the best looking, too.
Yeah, until I start taking on Santa. Well, never mind.
Here we go, going down that rabbit hole. Yeah, if you watch the show the last year and the year before, she was trying to get the girls at the office to participate in her little, happy send off to us for the season, and she had a hard time doing it. Well, they were out last night eating after a big Bass Pro event there in Las Vegas, and she was able to get them together to do that. And we just want to thank each and every one of them and wish them a Merry Christmas back. I know she says she may not have time to watch tonight, but she always religiously goes back and watches the replay. So, Gina, my hat's off to you, dear.
We love you, dear.
My hair's off to you.
All right, episode 6 and episode 31, because we had this gentleman on twice this year, we got to know Lauren Jensen and his part one and part two of his backstories. Lauren opened our eyes to how extensive of a role and how well-designed backstories can be helpful as a professional. Now, I know Rex had told me time and time again, this guy's got some stuff that none of us has even thought about. You want to reiterate on that, Rex?
Well, I had the opportunity to sit down with Lauren in Gatlinburg at SFR and listen to his backstory in detail. And I promised, and as I told you then, Bob, you've got to have him back because this is the most extensive backstory I've ever heard from somebody short of a written novel. And it's just amazing. He will draw in all the children with this backstory because I saw bits of Star Wars. I saw bits of St. Nicholas. I saw bits of true history, all built into his backstory. It was just an amazing, amazing thing he put together.
It was, and you and I both told him after the show in the green room that night that he really should consider trying to publish some of that stuff because, again, a lot of guys in the industry, I don't think sees as much important as a backstory, but when you sit down with him, you can see how, boy, you can just open up the eyes to the children to so much more if you just let your mind go.
Yep.
All right. I think on the next one we need an opening song. All right. Episode 7. Oh my goodness. Me and Charlie Johnson. Oh. Hey, anyways, Charlie Johnson joined us from Michigan, a MAPS member, and talked about the importance of continued training and the different schools he has attended and about his virtual and home visits.
Yeah, he had a lot there. The one thing I take from that show that I remember was when he sent me his information. His list of schooling was a full page. He has been to just about everything there is to go to except Cornerstones. He hasn't been there yet, but he's been out.
Tell me which one of us have been to Cornerstones yet.
Good point. Good point. But Charlie's name was one of the names that went into the hat for the drawing tonight. So we'll see. Who knows?
Right.
Everyone has a chance, right?
Every guest that we come to, I keep my tablet right here on my desk, and I'm always scribbling down stuff from everyone.
We can all learn, and as I open the show up, when we share, we're better. It's just the way it is.
Maybe when Rex was there, I might have just been scribbling. No,
you were just doodling then.
Doodling.
All right, moving along. Episode 8, we had Ben Bellhorn on, who has been the guiding light for the Ohio Santas and bringing education to their area. The Ohio guys have really gotten together under Ben's direction, and Ben will be hosting the Master Claus Academy March 23rd and 24th, 2024. He's going to have Lee Andrews, the professional clown, and Santa Mac McMullen on his program, one each day, to keynote instruct that particular class. And gosh, guys, if you can't get down to Cornerstones, think about going to the Master Claus Academy. It's up in the Ohio area, 2 different parts of the country, but something to think about.
And I have to tell you, after that show, I had a great respect for Ben. I had the opportunity this past summer to help a new club form of Santas over in the Mississippi Gulf Coast area, and just did not realize the effort it takes. So, my hat's off to Ben for all the work he put into bringing those guys together up in Ohio. I know a couple other clubs that tried and didn't make it, so he did a heck of a job.
He did. And Ben's another one of those that has really grabbed a hold of the role and learned so much in such a short period of time and doing such a fantastic job as a Claus. Great look. We think highly of Ben. Spankle.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I was with Ben Bellhorn and his son and some other Santas, and we were in Ohio, at a Cracker Barrel, I think it was, and his son was in the stall near me. And I knew he was in there, and I was in a different one. And so I'm in there in the phone talking about, hey, let them bugs out in the restaurant, blah, 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 going on and on, trying to just mess with his son's mind a little bit. He walks out to his dad and goes, I think Spangle's having a problem in there. It's like, okay, I lost. Hey, anyways, episode 9 was with Santa Mac, Jeff McMullen, who's going to be the featured instructor at SOS, former Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey clown, and has his own school, Kringle U. And we are proud to mention that SOS 2024, like I said, is the keynote.
That's right. He will be keynote at July.
July.
And, that's right. So, again, there's another opportunity, learning opportunity. Several great opportunities coming up in the 2024 season. So get out, choose one. If you can't go to all of them, just find one of them and go.
Yeah, and search down episode 9 and rewatch that, and you'll know why you'll want to be at SOS.
And I can tell you, I've been to a class led by Jeff. There is not a better instructor when it comes to performance-based instruction than Jeff McMullen. The man knows what he's talking about, and I tell folks all the time, Jeff McMullen, Santa Mac's the guy that taught Santa Rex how to move.
How to move?
How to move.
And, again, we talk a lot about education and sharing on this show because that's what Tuesday Night Live has been based around from the beginning is trying to help everyone. And nobody helps more than Santa Mac does. He's even helping us out at Cornerstone somewhat, and we'll talk more about that in weeks to come. But the one thing that really strikes me about Jeff is he talks about his early years when he was on the show and how much he wanted to be part of the clown industry and McDonald's, the clown and all the different things. But he said that he had trouble being humble. And I tell you what, there's not a more humble person in this industry than Jeff, and absolutely one of my favorite people in the industry also. All right, episode 10 was a great show and guest with Jamie Dozier, Becky, his wife, and his sister Janet. That was a tough show, Rex. I know you'll remember as well because we broadcasted live from Gatlinburg. And on the way to Gatlinburg, Scott and I found out, the passing of Gordon Bailey. And we got there, we were just totally out of sync. I mean, that had taken the wind out of our sail. It was time for the Monday show to start. Rex grabbed stuff out of the car. He met us, seen us and met us, and he's pushing me up the stairs and get in there and help set us up. And if it wasn't for your composure that day, Rex, I don't know. You were just my pillar and my rock, and I leaned on you hard that day, and I want to thank you for it.
Well, I mean, it wasn't easy for any of us that day because it came with such a shock. I've always felt privileged to have known Gordon and also Santa Jamie Dozier and his wife. I know both of them for a few years through the Cotton State Santas, which are just north of where I live, and I get to go to quite a few of their gatherings. But we all had to pull hard that day, but it was a great show, and Jamie did a fabulous job on that show. He's such an entertaining Santa. He really is. He and his wife both.
He is. And when we had the Tuscumbia, Alabama class, Gordon and I went down there to put that class on, and Jamie, and at the time his sister Jan was going to be his missus because Becky at the time couldn't do it the first year, so Jan and him attended and got to know Jamie and Janet that weekend. As we all do, anytime we do a class, we come together and go out to eat and really get to know the folks that are part of the weekend. And I knew right then Jamie was going a long way in this industry. Another one who has stepped up the ladder really fast, become such a great entertainer. And then him and his wife Becky came back to our class in Dixon, Tennessee, 2 years later. And it was such a privilege to be able to help Jamie get started with 2 Sat Bob's classes and he is just a big part of the Alabama bunch now. And you're right, that show that night was again, we were still in shock, and Jamie just really helped us put that show together. Him and Janet and Becky were fantastic that night. And I'll tell you, man, he shared a lot of really good stuff on that episode. It was a great episode.
It was, and he's another one now that is big on education. I mean, he goes
Yep.
to every school he can. He's held another school, brought another one in there to the Cotton State guys. I mean, he's all about it, just like the rest of us. So.
All right. We've just got started, barely breaking ground. We got 41 episodes to go through. But at this time, we want to do the TNL production trivia drawing. So, Angela, go ahead and push that lead in, and then she's going to come over and we're going to draw a name out of the hat for that scholarship. All right, so over the course of weeks now, we have had the TNL Productions North Pole Cornerstone Trivia Questions with our winners each Monday and Tuesday getting their names dropped in the hat for a chance at a $450 scholarship to the NP Cornerstone's inaugural session, San Antonio, Texas, February 2nd through the 4th, 2024. We ended up with 16 opportunities. Now, some folks won more than once. AJ's name was in there 4 times, Charlie Johnson twice. And so anyway, we've got them all right here in the hat. We're going to shake this up and let Angela draw out of it. Mike Hutchins. How about that, Mike? Mike's up in Toronto, isn't he?
Yes,
Mike's from Toronto.
I think so.
Yeah. So, Mike, if you're on the show tonight, you are the winner for the $450 scholarship. We put out a post today asking that if you wasn't able to make it, to let us know. And we did have a couple of folks take their name out of the hat. And so we hope that he can make it. This is non-transferable. So if you cannot make it, Michael, let us know. We're going to leave the names in the hat, and somewhere down the line, if we have to, we'll draw again. Mike Hutchins, congratulations.
You know, if we give a door prize for the furthest away coming to Cornerstones, Mike just might be the winner of that too.
He very well could be. See, double whammy right there, huh?
I bet he votes for that to be a contest.
If he's watching, I know he will. All right. So, again, since we're at this point in the show, let's just go ahead and take that first break that we have for Spangles product announcement, and we'll be right back on the other side.
Hello. Hello.
Hey! Will somebody get the kid a Happy Meal?
No, don't do that.
Hello!
Stop the show. It's time.
It's time for product announcements. Here we go. We're going to do our tumblers because these are great to have on your set. We got a Mrs. Claus tumbler. We have a Santa Claus tumbler. We have an SC tumbler. And for Santa, because Santa is the man of giving, for all the people that work on the set with you or whatever, you got that special elf, get him one of these. We're going to do these $25. That's shipped to you. You'll also get a straight straw, bend straw, and a brush to clean them. So $25 shipped to you in the continental USA, of course. Let us know. SC, Santa, Elf, Mrs. Claus. We'll get them to you.
Fantastic. Of course, I have my little tumbler here from Fancy Lee's, but I do use the SOS straw. They're great. Fantastic.
And that is a heck of a deal he's giving, because I can remember, I think he sold those straws and brush for $5 separately, used to.
If I can.
They were extra, absolutely. And again, on those elf tumblers, that was a great idea, Spangle, to get them for the folks who work, on the set with you. Can always take, like my Mrs. Claus does when we do something special for the people I work with, stuff some candy canes in there, some hot chocolate, some marshmallows in a bag, or a pair of stockings, little booties or whatever, and give away. Go ahead and stuff that thing full and give it away with stuff in it.
And it's got that movable, closable lids too. And the straw.
All right, so that price is good through next Monday, November 13th. So you only have 6 days to take care of the advantage of that. Jump out there and get you one while you can. Great gift for the.
I was really hoping you were going to say, now that was good till the next episode of Tuesday Night Live.
Would have been a mess right there for sure.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do our Santa Claus commercial. We'll be back.
Oh, hello there. Yes, of course, it's me, Santa Claus. Now, you may not believe this, but one of the questions I get asked the most is, well, not how do I do it all in one night? No, but where do I get all my things from? Yes, now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the finest things I have. My glorious gloves, all my knickknacks and trinkets and things, yes, all the giveaways, yes, for me to give to the children before the main event. Yes, if I see them in the streets, if they come and see me, I like to have something in my pocket I can treat them with. Yes, and there's one special place where I can find all these magical goods. And that is, of course, StuffForSanta.com. You should head there now and see what magical gifts you can find. Mrs. Claus, have you got my ice pad? Yes, log me on. I'm going to have a look. I shall see you there. StuffForSanta.com. Merry Christmas.
Question for Spangle. What is it?
It's over here from Rick Maynard.
Rick Maynard wants to know, this is Rick's daughter. Can you personalize the elf cup?
You can with a Sharpie. These are already done.
All right.
All right, so let's get on with the show here. Who wrote The Gremlins, the movie, and then went on to direct Blank Blank and the first two Blank Blank movies? How many rules are there and that one must abide by with Gizmo, and what are those rules? There's a lot of questions there. Who wrote Gremlins, the movie, then went on to direct Blank Blank and the first two Blank Blank movies? How many rules are there that one must abide by with Gizmo, and what are those rules?
Yeah, it's not that hard. If you've seen the movie, that's it's fairly easy, I guess. At least the second half of it, right? All right, everyone, work on that. Come up with some good answers there. We're going to go ahead and move on to the second half of tonight's program. Still got a lot to cover. Let's continue where we left off here. We mentioned Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and that was our first road trip of the year to get out and work remotely. Scott Seriton and I loaded up, arrived there on a Monday in April, where we did live streaming of over 7.5 hours covering vendors, reindeer games, and the Monday and Tuesday shows were broadcast there. All that in 2 days. Again, Rex was one of our remote folks on the microphone. We also had Santa Mel. She conducted a couple of interviewed Spangle for one. And that was a great time. So Scott was going to be with us. He's tied up with a program with his son. Don't know if he's going to make it. If he does, we'll bring him in later. But we want to go ahead and bring in Melissa Lynn Santa Mel right here.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Mel. How are you, dear?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the new job working out?
It is absolutely great. I absolutely love it. Michigan's awesome.
Oh, fantastic. And you're ready for the season. Got some work to do, I guess.
I do. Yes, I have got some work. Thanks to my friends here and Kringle Tracker. we're getting them done. So exciting.
That's fantastic. That's great. So, you got any takeaways from Gatlinburg while we're on the subject of Gatlinburg?
Man, what a great time. Yes, we had some really, really bad news leading up to it, but such a wonderful group of fellowship and learning and just an amazing time. Yeah, awesome. We had a great time. We had a roommate that was feeding bears.
Yeah, how about those bears, huh?
I thought one was going to hop in my car, Spangle. That was crazy. But what a fun time. I got to interview Spangle. That was absolutely so much fun. And got to spend a lot of time with him and Jetta and Heidi and Erica. And we met Santa's. I mean, I met all my superheroes in person, which was absolutely fantastic. So great time. If you ever have a chance to go to the Santa family reunion, guys, girls, do it. It's awesome.
Not all heroes wear capes, huh?
Nope, some wear blue beards, Spangle.
Two things. Also, we got to meet Heidi there in person for the first time. That was a real pleasure to get to finally meet Heidi. And the second thing was just yesterday or the day before, someone in the Santa community posted a photo that they had just taken on the main drag in Gatlinburg with a bear walking across the street with people everywhere. So not only do they live up in the hills, they come down to town sometimes. So when you're in Gatlinburg, you have a good chance of seeing bears. But, Spangle was the crazy one out there trying to feed them.
It's probably
sorry.
Okay.
Gatlinburg has a bear that walks down the main road, goes into different stores, finds a treat on one of the shelves in one of the stores, and just walks out. There's usually a couple of people walking near the bear because it's a wild animal. They'll just say, get out of its way, get out of its way. Because it ain't there to hurt nobody. It's just looking for a popcorn ball or a sausage stick or something.
Just looking for a treat. Again, Rex did some interviews for us that day. He interviewed several people, which we've got coming up here in just a moment. So we won't mention them until we bring them in. But that was such a great weekend. And it did. It started off with a somber start with the passing of Gordon. But, it was wonderful in the sense that we were all able to come together and be with each other to help cry on each other's shoulders. And the support from the community that weekend was just absolutely insane.
It was beautiful.
No, it was a great weekend. Santa Family Reunion always is. I've been to each and every one, even when it was called other things there in Gatlinburg. And actually, one of the big things that happened at this one this past year, for the first time ever, we got a group picture of all the International Santa Claus Hall of Fame members that attended the Santa family reunions. First time we've ever had any kind of group photo made.
That was
And
awesome.
that's legendary.
Yeah, legendary.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Spangle.
All right, episode 11 was another fabulous couple and a great show with Dana and Everett Postello. They revealed how their date nights are on Tuesday, where they watch TNL for the learning experience. I mean,
They
what
do,
else
you know, when
do
they
you wanna
told
do on a date?
when they told me that was their date night and that's how they spent it, I was just so taken back by that because I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's big shoes to fill to try to give them that learning experience where they can feel compelled to come back week in and week out and
Well,
use that as their
you
date
also
night.
got to remember, though, Bob, that us in the Santa community, most of us are pretty old. So what else are we going to do on a date night, anyways?
On a Tuesday. What else you gonna do on a Tuesday night, right? That's what we always say. Absolutely. All right. So episode 12, we had the pleasure of having our go-to for the last minute guest again. That was Mrs. Gina Bacon. She came in. That was one of those deals where she wasn't scheduled, but something had happened with our scheduled guest, and I called her late. I mean, like an hour before airtime. And she threw some makeup on and put herself together and came on. And she's just so gracious at doing that. And always has a lot of good stuff to share with us. And you know what? You can be down in the dumps and talk to Gina for just a moment, and she will lift your spirits. I tell you, she is just so wonderful.
Well, she's always one of our favorites.
Everything goes better with bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Episode 13 was a show. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's you.
Okay, well, I thought Mel was going to say something. Episode 13 was a show that was groundbreaking as we had Michael and Rhonda Landon from Fancy Lee Creations, where we talked about their commitment to supply all the Tuesday night live merchandise as our exclusive vendor for swag. Please welcome Rhonda and Michael Landon. Little House on the Prairie.
Hello.
Michael, he's never going to let you live that one down, brother.
I've been
His whole life.
46 years, so.
I understand. Now, I think everybody knows at this point, but Rhonda is Rex's daughter, and you guys, I'm going to let y'all tell the story about you taking over after your mom, Darlene, had passed with the embroidery machines, and go from there.
Well, I had a business of making some shirts and clothing and cups and stuff. And when my mom passed, I always liked doing the embroidery with her. We asked Dad if we could take over that part of it, and he kind of got us started in the Santa world, and it's just taken off from there. I mean, we hit the ground running in Gatlinburg and haven't stopped since.
That's good. That's good. And
Maybe
again,
we'll
Gatlinburg.
visit you guys on Shark Tank soon.
But that's going to have to be the next thing. I took them their second embroidery machine just this past summer. So now they've got 2 machines.
Yep.
And they've expanded their line of things. They're doing a lot of different Santa things, not just the T&L merch, but yep, they've got some great things for T&L merchandise. Everybody needs them for stocking stuffers.
We're just we're lucky to be the beneficiaries of the all the good stuff that you do have. But again, they have much, much more. And if it's not on their website at fancylees.com, I said fancylees with an S.com, reach out to Michael and Rhonda because they will make you pretty much anything, right?
Yeah, my motto is if you can come up with it, I can make it.
That's what we like to hear. Now, going back to Gatlinburg, because you guys were blessed, I might say, with having the booth right at the front door for the vendor's room. That was due to your dad and Little Darlene's Creations securing that before Darlene had passed. And so he gave you all that spot. And I tell you what, it was a ton of fun right there. We had, you guys there, had Thermopyro across from you. And of course, the snowball fights, we'll talk more about that when we bring Jessica in, but it was a great weekend. And you guys I tell you what, man, y'all fit in from the get go. Everybody just reached out, embraced you guys. And I know every time I looked over, Michael was running that embroidery machine, and that thing was shaking, and he was wiping sweat off his brow and trying to talk to folks. And Kathy Bear was in the booth with you guys helping, and Rex was helping, and it was a fantastic time.
Oh, we had a blast. We can't wait for the next one.
Well, I think you guys are already signed up for Memphis too, right?
Yes, we are.
And you'll be
And
at North Pole Cornerstones in San Antonio.
Right, don't forget Cornerstones. That's right, coming to Cornerstones. So, hey, if you know there's something you want, come to Cornerstones and get it in person. Get to meet Michael and Rhonda.
And just keep in mind that Mike and I have a few things in the works that we're going to launch specifically at North Pole Cornerstones. That will be the first time you'll get to see some of the new stuff we're going to have coming out.
Wow, we love that idea. Fantastic. All right, guys, you going to hang out with us for a little bit? Have you got?
Yeah,
I know y'all are.
I had to work, but I'll be here for a little bit.
Okay, I won't keep you too long. We just want to have you hang out just for a little bit. I know you both still work and you have early hours, so we had planned on, just keeping you for a short bit. So we're going to go ahead and move along because we do have a lot to cover here. So,
all right. Episode 14 was a good one for me because it brought a very special friend of mine, Dave Saunders, very successful Santa, and he shared about his movie appearances and how he uses social media to promote himself. I think the guy's been in 7 or 8 movies. Some of them are little, some of them are bigger. But, he's really hit the ground running with the movie thing.
He has, and, he is a firefighter, and we documented that well on the show. And, he is really looking forward to finally retiring from the fire department and being able to do Santa full time because not only does he do it, but his son is involved. And tell a little bit about that, Spangle.
Well, his son was his elf for a long time. Then his daughter became, but they're all grown up now. His daughter's like 10 years old, and she's actually an MMA fighter now. And so she's kicking butt and protecting daddy now, But, he's just blows that thing up with the Santa. He's everywhere doing everything, both paid gigs, volunteer gigs, and he's just everywhere. He's just got a lot of big dreams on where he's going to go with this, and I believe he's going to make it.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. Very, very nice guy. Fantastic Santa, and has a great future in the movie and film industry, it looks like also. Episode 15.
He was one of the firefighters for 9/11, too. At the Pentagon.
Yes, he was. He was at the Pentagon and saw some things there. He didn't want to talk about it. We kind of wanted to, kind of not get into any details, but just basically speak about that night. And he really, like a lot of folks who have been affected by traumatic experiences, didn't want to talk about it. And I can understand that. So, but anyway, he was, and we want to, again, tip our hat to him for what he's done for the country.
Yeah, him and I made went around to some of the firehouses in downtown New York one time together after that.
That was a great experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so episode 15, another MAPS member, Santa Ted Flynn, dropped by and shared his successes and years of experience as a professional Santa. Ted is another one of those that, boy, if you sit down and get to talking with him, he has so much to share, so much experience. For some of the new folks in the industry, if you're watching tonight or if you watch a replay, reach out to some of these senior Santas like Rex and Ted and some of the guys that's been doing it for a long time. Because I'll tell you what, free information help is always welcome. I would not be where I'm at in my 14th season if it hadn't been for folks like Rex and Tom Carmody and Tom Cordemelia and Stephen Arnold and most of all Gordon Bailey. So just want to again tip my hat to those folks.
Well, episode 16 was my bud from across the pond, who's one of the busiest entertainers in this industry. Sammy Caleb Brooks joined us where it was 1 a.m. where he lives in the UK. And I'm telling you what, we had so much to learn that day.
It was a cool show. I really, really, really enjoyed that. Sammy is such another one of those guys that just, funny. Of course, in the UK, they do things a little bit different than what we do here in the States. And it's always good to get that culture shock to find out how things are going in different areas of the world. And
Sammy's just a premier entertainer, period.
Absolutely.
He is so professional and you know, one of the great things about him is he hates scripts. He does everything just off the cuff, ad lib, and is so very good at it.
And
Yeah,
his thing during the season, he's doing a Santa production that's actually touring around, and he's performing in front of audiences, not just saying, "Hey, how are you? What would you like?" and stuff. He's doing.
Oh, yeah, he's on stage in theater doing this.
Singing, interacting with actors on stage as elves. I mean, their productions are second to none. And that's how I found out about Sammy years ago. Was I happened across one of his performances, and I was like, "Wow, this guy!" And you know, so. But again, he's another one of those guys that's kind of humble. You know, he doesn't like to flaunt what he does. He works every day doing something. If it's not magic, it's DJing. If it's not that, it's doing commercials. It's, you know, it's just a ton of stuff. He is a busy, busy entertainer.
He is the Santa in my commercial.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, so episode 17 was our School of Santa scholarship announcement. That's where we had Rex and Mel, who we have with us, joined us to give away their scholarships, and SOS Drew for the scholarship there. So 3 scholarships went out that night. That was a pretty cool night to be able to give away 3 scholarships. Rex, you want to recap on who you had given yours to?
Well, you know, ours went to Tammy, and you know, I had ladies had to write an essay. It was a Darlene Ray scholarship I was given, and Spangles teamed with me to do it. It was probably the largest single scholarship ever given out in the Santa community, because total value was right at $1,000 for this one scholarship. Spangle covered his tuition at SOS. I kicked in $500 to cover hotel costs, and Spangle kicked in another $100 gas card to help Tammy get home. So, plus we gave her a couple gifts while she was there. So, you know, it was a fabulous thing.
And she had a really good time. She was going around getting pictures with everyone and getting to know everyone. She's not shy.
Not at all.
Yeah, I just talked to her again the other day over there in Kansas.
I just saw pictures today posted on Facebook of her doing a Mrs. Claus with out there. So she's having a great time with what she learned.
That's good. Mel, and you gave away a scholarship that night too.
Yes, we did. Santa's Magical Fellowship Group took a bunch of essays for tuition for the School of Santas. And reading through all the essays, we came across Jeff Willett. Jeff is a member of the Michigan Association of Professional Santas, and he just had a really good essay, and he had always wanted to attend the School of Santas. So he won our scholarship in our drawing. So we were glad that we could bring him down, and hopefully he's hooked and he'll be back next year with the rest of the MAPS folks, myself included. So
that's right. And we do want to take a moment just to say that please keep him and his family in your prayers. They just lost their son, tragic accident.
Yes.
And that was just this week. So, you know, it's, as we've always said, to lose a friend or a family member is tough, but to lose a child is the toughest. And I know his heart's broken over it.
Lisa and Jeff.
So keep Jeff and family in your prayers, please. All right. The reason we had Rhonda stick around, because we're going to bring in one of everybody's friends here. Episode 18, we had Julia Cracky from Thermapparel, where she brought a trivia question and gave away a state-of-the-art cooling vest. Guess what? She's back, and she's going to do it.
Yay! Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you all.
Yeah, we got the band back together here, didn't we?
Yeah, and we'll see everybody in Memphis, too. We're excited.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so, you know, Gatlinburg was so much fun. First time for me to meet you in person, Julia, and I think Scott and I kind of took over your booth in a way. Scott was having trouble. He was hot. You threw one of the cooling vests on him and revived him, brought him back to life. And
I was going to say, she saved Scott.
Why did you do that?
He can be very persuasive.
And it was so much fun because you guys were right there at the entrance. So the first 2 booths you saw when you walked in, and of course Jessica, Rosa, and the snowball fights took place around the Thermapparel and the Fancy Lee's booth. So we'll hear more about that from her. I'm sure she's got a bucket full of snowballs she got from Spangle. All right, Julia. So hey, you want to go ahead and let's do your trivia question at this point? Be a good place to do it.
Yep, I got a good one for you tonight. It's not a Christmas related, but it is. I'm from Kansas, so it's Kansas related. So in the movie The Wizard of Oz, there are two people that wear the ruby red slippers. Who are they? Yeah, there's two. Oh, I think Rex got it.
He's got an ants in his pants. I'm not sure which. Yeah, fantastic question there. So, guys, work on that one. Julie is here to talk a little bit about the Thermapparel Cleveland vest. So, I'm gonna turn the floor over to you. Tell folks about it. I mean, it'll change your life. Ask God; He'll tell you.
Well, we haven't gotten one on him yet, but we're fingers crossed. So we make a cooling vest that weighs less than 2 pounds. You can wear it under your Santa suit. The cooling packs are in the back, so no children or anybody will notice you have any cold spots. It'll keep you cool for about 2 to 3 hours, and it's photo friendly, so there's no lumps or bumps or anything on the front. And the cooling packs can recharge in about 30 minutes in some ice water. So all you need is a cooler of ice water at whatever gig you're at, or if you have access to a freezer, it'll refreeze in about an hour in the freezer, but 30 minutes in ice water as well.
And it won't turn your beard blue.
No, it won't turn your beard blue. Although it matches my shirt. It's a good color, Spangle.
Thank you.
Okay, but I want to know about this scratch and dent cell. How do you have a scratch and dent cell with cooling vests?
Okay, so our scratch and dent sale is something that we have like late in the summer. Usually it's when people have ordered a size small and they get it and they realize, oh, I actually needed a size medium. So they've tried it on and they may have nicked the spandex with the Velcro a little bit, and we don't feel comfortable selling those as brand new, so we sell it as a scratch and dent. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just maybe a little cosmetic defect from the Velcro, but the cooling packs are still the same. You still get the same cooling power, cooling time. You just get the vest garment at a little bit cheaper price.
I was really hoping it wasn't the one that you weren't selling, the one Scott used.
Oh no, we let him keep that one, I think.
Yeah, and Rhonda, take notes. You guys need to have a scratch and dent sale.
I do periodically. So yeah, I think I might have to have another one of those soon.
Well, and we actually are going to be having our Black Friday sale. That's our biggest sale of the year. That is going to start on November 11th, and it'll run through the end of the month.
And guys, I can attest, in the middle of this summer, in the Florida heat at 100 plus degrees, and me out mowing grass and bush hogging and clearing everything, that vest works.
Yes.
And works exceptionally well. And I never even felt like I had it on.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Rex, that's huge, because you wouldn't try it on at Gatlinburg at all.
It took me winning it for him to get it.
Yeah. So that's huge. Thank you. I'm so glad it's helping.
Now, Rhonda and Julia, you guys.
I'm sorry?
What's that, Spangle? I talked on top of
Rex
you. Go
just
ahead.
wasn't wanting any of the ladies to see his bod.
Oh. I was going to say that Rhonda and Julia, you guys have caught up with each other at another gathering recently, haven't you?
We did.
Yes. We were at
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta,
Northern
yeah.
Lights Santa Academy.
Yep.
That was
We
a
did
lot of fun.
next to each other, but we did walk and talk to each other all the time.
Close enough to throw snowballs?
Yes.
No, there weren't. I don't know. Were there snowballs?
Snowballs, but we could have.
And we'll get another opportunity in February in San Antonio, right?
Okay, we'll do it in February. I don't know.
Yeah.
Atlanta was just so fast and furious, and we were in the vendor room early in the morning and didn't leave until late at night and talked to so many amazing Santas and Mrs. Clauses, and it was nonstop. And I know, Rhonda, you guys were going bonkers.
Oh yeah, it was nonstop for us, literally from open to close. Again, didn't get lunch, all that good stuff.
So, Rex, what was, I know, I think we were told the total amount of attendance at Gatlinburg. Do you remember? It was over 400, wasn't it? Or near 400?
I'm wanting to say it was 413.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
that was a good weekend for everybody, I think. I know Spangle's booth was, packed full. Of course, he has one of the larger booths because he likes to spend money. So, but I think everybody came up pretty good in the Gatlinburg weekend.
Yeah. Hey, anyways, episode 19 was a 4-year professional Santa, Carl White, a.k.a. Jolly Santa Blue Eyes. We all remember him there.
And yeah, Carl's another one of those guys that's only been at this a few years. I think you said 4, Spangle. But he's come such a long way and has got such a story to tell. It's amazing.
A lot of us that's been around a long time, it's really nice hearing from these newer ones because they're coming in with a newer perspective on things, and we're like, oh, wow, yeah, that might work.
Well, and a lot of times they'll bring up things some of us old guys who just clean forgot about.
Yeah. And when you meet them, they might be able to help you with your phone.
And, again, Carl had a lot to share. I think it was you and I, Rex, that sat down with him in Gatlinburg and chatted.
Yep.
And got to know. That was when we were sitting there with Lauren.
Yep.
And
Carl's another one with an amazing story.
That was a great conversation right there. And in Lauren, when we were in Branson this year, he rode with me and my wife every time we would leave the hotel to go eat or go to a show. He rode with us, so I got to hear more of Lauren's stuff during that time also. But him and Carl, you put them two together, and you're going to sit there for a while because they got a lot to talk about.
Hey,
All right,
episode 20 was another good one when our viewers' favorite guest with his deep baritone voice and his years of experience and knowledge he always shares. He has been on our roundtable panels and even serenaded us with Christmas classics with his singing voice, Dr. Bruce J. G. Kotovich.
Another one that has just got so much experience, and it's always good to be friends with Bruce. Reach out to him; he will always help you. Fantastic. He's been on our round table and always has lots of good content to share with everyone.
And he, every time I've met him, he's genuinely the most caring person you'll ever meet.
He's amazing.
Really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
Our hats are off to it.
Rhonda, you still good, or you need to go yet?
I was actually going to jump in and say Mike's about to have to leave for work, so we are going to have to go. But I did want to quickly tell everybody a huge thank you. The TNL merch, I know we have already sent you some payments towards that. And if people will just keep buying it, I feel like they're going to pay some of your fees with this. So they need to realize that by doing this, they're supporting y'all and keeping you on the air.
They are, without some type of little bit of income coming in to help pay for the platform and all the associated costs. One of the things that cost me a lot, and that's ink for my printer. And so that money does not get wasted. It goes right back into things like being able to print our scripts out and put things together and promos. And so, Rhonda, thank you and Michael so much for everything you do. NancyLease.com. You help those folks out. You help us out here at TNL when you buy merch. Again, and AJ put in the comments earlier that he's got his hat on when he comes into the show here in a bit. So thank you. And we will see you guys in February. But right now, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. You and Michael both.
Y'all be safe, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Julie, you good to hang out for a little bit?
Yeah, I can hang out for a little while if you want me.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, so we're going to go on to episode 21. Was all about the celebration of our milestone. That was our 100th live show. Now, that's pretty cool to stop and think about that we've done 100 shows. And that was just earlier this year. And now we're looking at tonight's our 120th plus, because I went back this week as I was going through all this to put this script and show together. there was some of these specials that we've done that we didn't count as episodes. So really, we're above that 120 mark. But again, that 100 show was fun. We enjoyed it, and we
wait till our 1000th episode.
Boy, that's a ways off, but how fun will that be, right?
We'll all have blue beards then.
Yeah.
Myself included.
But we had the whole TNL crew in that night. I think Mel, you showed up, Rex. We had everyone on, and it was a great show. Anytime we get the band or the family together, it's always fun.
Amen.
All right, so moving along, episode 35. Is it where we're at? Or did I skip a page?
22. 21. No, 22. Episode 22.
I went too far, didn't I?
Episode 22, TNL Productions and TNL Show went out on the road on our second trip of the year, 2 weeks in Branson, Missouri.
That's
You got it,
right.
Bob?
We did.
We
Yeah,
were
I found
at
it.
SOS
It was at
2023.
I hadn't scrolled down the page far enough. I was getting ahead of myself. Yes, and what a whirlwind of a time that was. I mean, we well documented it. We done 5 or 6 shows over the course of 2 weeks. Spangle always throws a party, as we like to say. The first Tuesday Night Live show was done from there, and there was a handful of people there already. Come Tuesday night, some get there early. But we had Jackie Chamberlain on that night. Man, was that a good show or what? Jackie is another one that can really give you a lot to think about and to chew on. But that was a great show.
She's such a fabulous Mrs. Claus and does so much as a standalone Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
That she's always full of great information, especially for these other ladies that are wanting to step out on their own and not always be under the shadow of their Santa. She's a huge mentor and example to those ladies. But just doing the show from Branson at School of Santas, I mean, we were breaking in new equipment, having to figure out how it worked. We had Mel jumping on and off of tables, running spotlights and doing all kinds of things.
That was great.
I got my first real chance to host a show only because Bob got up and walked away and didn't tell me he was going to do it. So it was a blast doing this in Branson. It always is.
It was so much work for Rex that we actually have evidence of him gone for the night.
Rex, I did kind of throw you under the bus that night, but I knew that your mobility was a little bit of an issue that weekend. You was having a little bit of trouble and couldn't get around as well as you normally do, because normally you're spry and running all over the place. And I had, my first intention was to have you to go out and do some infield interviews, but you and AJ was having so much fun sitting there at the desk that night. I thought, well, I'll jump up and run and do it and save him the wear and tear on his knees and hips but I tell you what, I can step aside and you can take this show and run with it because you are a natural.
See, Spangles has got me drooling down my cane there. You guys wore me out there.
He did. Now, Mel, you got the privilege, I guess, of seeing Jackie in person, right? Talking about Jackie Chamberlain?
Yes.
Because you're up there in that area now and all part of the same organization. So what do you take away from Jackie that stands out most to you when someone says Jackie the Entertainer?
That's exactly it. Amazing. You can learn so much from Jackie. Just like you said, standalone, but heartwarming. And she just kind of draws you, and that's kind of a unique trait that some people have to work at that. I think it just comes naturally to Jackie. Just amazing.
She's smooth as creamy peanut butter, I tell you.
Amen, brother.
Just something about the way she presents herself, carries herself. She is a quality Mrs. Claus and entertainer for sure.
Like, I like to be like her when I grow up. She's just.
We had a couple other people that were there that helped us in some of the shows. Why don't we bring in Deanna and AJ?
Yeah, that's right. That's where we were going next with Deanna and AJ. Speaking of AJ sitting at the desk, Deanna stepped over and got in some camera time that weekend also, or the 2 weeks actually. Most of
Look
all,
at
I think what
AJ's
was pretty
hat.
cool was Deanna was part of the Peanut Gallery that we mentioned here in a moment. Episode 23, Branson special, Tuesday Night Live, Thursday Night Live special, where we had Peanut Gallery, and that was fun because we actually could hear people clapping and hollering and oohing and that sort of thing in the background.
Boy, but we had to act quick though to dodge those tomatoes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really was a peanut gallery. We got kibitz, we got everything that night, but yeah, there was no canned laughter or applause that night.
Yeah. And AJ, of course, he sat there the whole show with Rex, and they interacted. And did you have fun in Branson, AJ?
Yes, it was totally worth it. I'm coming back next year for sure. I'm already registered, so.
We heard that. Have you back next year, and it's always fun. AJ's a staunch supporter of the show. Been with us. The one thing we take away from the 2 weeks in Branson was two things. I guess we've mentioned before, but he lost his doggone hat. He came in as soon as him and Connie and Andy got there. That's his mom and dad, and went straight for the merch. Got him a couple of hats. Next morning, got up and couldn't find the hat he's got on his head right now. He couldn't find it nowhere. We searched the grounds over. We had everybody looking.
Maintenance crew and everybody looking for
maintenance men, the front desk, in case anybody turned it in. And it was a couple of hours. We were so worried about even one of the maintenance.
Tell us where it was, AJ.
In the dirty laundry.
When he took his shirt off, he got caught up in his shirt and went into the dirty laundry. So that's where it was found at.
Yeah, Julia, we need to get you to come to Branson.
Yeah, no, we would love to come to Branson. I haven't been to Branson in ages.
It's a good time.
God. It's
only if you're up for a good time. Only if you're up for a good time.
Oh, of course. Thurman Apparel's always up for a good time.
Well, and the best part is Spangles pays for all the shows that week.
Oh.
Yes. Hey, so that took us from 22 to 25. So let's go to 26 now. The big Branson recap show with Bob Scott, Rex, Jessica, Mel, AJ, and myself.
Yeah, that was the week that we came home, and
AJ.
we were all tired, and we really didn't have a time to put a really scripted show together with a featured guest. So we just recapped Branson. We've done this the last couple of years, and it's really been a good show because we get to finally talk about all the things we're talking about now, and then some, the good, the bad, the ugly, which I don't think there's really any bad or ugly, but I mean, we do. We tell all the stories.
Scott. I'm bad. He's ugly.
For sure. All right, Spangle.
Hey, all right. So episode 27, Sean Marshall White was our guest who shared so much about her portrayal as Mrs. C.
Another one, Mel. Tell us about Sean, Mel.
Sean's awesome. Sean is just a beautiful, beautiful person inside and out. I'm looking forward. Hopefully I can work with her this year. She is just, vintage Mrs. Claus. She's amazing. I absolutely love Sean. Plus she knows she's an aviation buff like me. So, super smart lady, just beautiful.
I love how all the new Mrs. Clauses and all the new styles, but I also love how she keeps her tradition of keeping the old style, the storybook Mrs. Claus.
Yep. And that's exactly what I was going to say. I love the fact that she's vintage Mrs. Claus. She does it just like we all grew up with. Thinking of Mrs. Claus.
And she's like Jackie in the sense that she works alone a lot, and she's just smooth with her delivery. Her voice will just lull you into a sense of security like Jackie's does.
Yep.
She's great.
I have to say that both Sean and Jackie are such great examples and great role models for anyone who's looking to step into life as a Lady Claus, whether it's Mrs. Claus or some other relation. And what is also is the amount of support that they have from the Santas in the community about finding their place and their contribution, because it just makes all of the Clauses even better. they're great role models for that.
It's not always about the Santa.
No.
Up for the Clauses.
Yes.
It's about the team. It's about the team. It's actually just about the children, and however we can make that great memory. And sometimes it's Mrs. Claus who makes that happen.
Yep.
You know, and then going now to episode 28, somebody that was there in the very beginning of the TNL that was really a big part of it. We had our friend and first producer drop by and discuss the show's humble beginnings as well as acting career in the New Mexico region. And he's really doing a lot of movies.
He has. He's been really busy, and he's watching tonight. He's out in the audience. So, hats off to you, Ron. Great job, brother. As always, he has taken over the Enchanted Santas of New Mexico chapter of the IBRBS affiliated program over there. Doing a great job with it. Starting to pull those guys together, and again, working, doing a lot of Santa stuff. But in the off season, he has really gotten into a lot of the movie films and that sort of thing, which is
he's really big in the westerns and stuff.
Western stuff, yeah.
To the point that they've all told him that he needs to keep his hair the gray for the westerns instead of the white. They think the white's a little distracting, he told us. And,
yeah.
And you know, and I'll tell you, Darlene and I, our first appearance on Tuesday Night Live was Ron's last show as your producer.
Yeah. And
we had a fabulous experience doing that show. And you know, so Ron, my hat's off to you too. And good luck with all you're doing in the movie industry.
Well, episode 29 took us to another podcast host, the North Pole Radio Podcast by Matt Spalding.
That's another one. He's just a naturally fun guy to hang out with, and does such a great job over on the podcast. I know many of us in the industry has been interviewed by him, and it was my pleasure to go on the North Pole podcast, and you know it was fun, and he was such a great host, and does such a great job over there.
Yeah, Matt.
All right, so go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, Matt's falling. It's just amazing. So great show.
Got a great look too.
You know, we have a host right here on with us right now that does a podcast in sense too. You know, with Santa Mel.
Yeah, tell folks about your fellowship group, Mel. That's a great lead in.
I'm just so proud. 2 years ago I started the Santa's Magical Fellowship group with 4 of us, and we're now pushing 1,400. It's a place for Santas, by Santas to have fellowship, share tips, share time savers, find out where to get the good stuff, and just learn from each other and grow with each other and laugh and sometimes cry with each other. It is an amazing group. I have met so many people. You know, Spangle's on there all the time with stuff for Santa. It's amazing. We have Mrs. Clauses. We have the Clauses on, elves, people in the industry. It's just a great group of people just to chill out on Thursday nights. We did move to once a month. We were doing it every week. There was some feedback that people couldn't get on every week. Next year, we're going to be doing it twice a month on Thursday nights. So please join us. We would love your input. And join our Facebook page, Santa's Magical Fellowship Group. Share your season's pictures. We'd love to see you. We're excited to see you. And I just found out about an hour ago I will be at North Pole Cornerstones this year, so I will actually be sharing some pictures from there. So join our group. We'd love to have you. And on behalf of everybody, we are doing another scholarship for School of Santas this year too, by the way, Spangle. And we, from our house to your house and our group to your group, we wish you a really merry and blessed holiday season, folks. Be safe and just remember you are Christmas magic, and we love each and every one of you. Thanks, Bob.
And what else are you going to do on a Thursday night, right?
Amen. You got it.
Hey, I don't think folks realize how much goes into putting a show on each week. If you do a weekly show like you guys have been doing for the last 2 years, and what we've done Monday and Tuesday, it is time consuming, but it's well worth every bit of the energy we put into it because look how much fun we're having, right?
Now I might know what to do for Thursday night date night.
There you go, Spangle.
Yeah.
You and Jenna join us.
Absolutely. All right, so episode 30 was our bud Scott Parker, shared his stories, and we talked about his singing, his Santa career, his haunt career, Bob the caretaker. We had on, the Halloween show recently, as well as his cowboy roots in the earlier days. Scott started watching the very first episode we had. He was one of the first people named that popped up, and he has watched religiously. Of course, during the haunt season, there's nights he can't be because he was working, but if he's available, he's sitting there before we go on the air and ready to go.
Well, what else are you going to do on a Tuesday night?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Angie just informed me that Scott has made it, so we're going to bring in Scott Saraton at this point. So everyone say hi to Scott. There he is. Yeah, he's home.
Okay, guys. We got to start talking nice about it. We can't talk bad about it anymore.
And look, he's white.
He's so
Well,
pretty.
At least
He's so
the thing
pretty.
that I'm grateful for is at least my my bleach didn't end up like Spangles.
Yeah.
And what did you do? What did you use to get your beard that white?
Well, it's a special formula that was made up just for me to share with the audience, but it comes in a can and it's called Spangle Magic.
All right.
It's on the shelf.
Clorox.
And I brushed it in my eyebrows and it washes out.
Spangle is now selling it. So if you don't think that your white is white enough, this stuff is really good. Spangle talked about it a couple of weeks
in
ago.
my beard, mustache, and eyebrows. Now, not in my hair, but look, it matches pretty well.
Hey, we got you guys covered.
Looks great.
How do I do this?
Called Spangle Magic.
We got hundreds of cans right now in stock.
And if you try to go out and find it elsewhere, you're not going to find it because Spangle bought all the inventory up.
Yeah, and it doesn't do this to your beard.
You
I was
look
gonna
like
say,
a
Spangle, you're
Smurf,
not the
you're
best
Smurf
advertiser
Santa.
for it tonight.
But it's now Spangle Smurf Santa.
Right.
Papa Santa.
Well, it's great to see everybody. Sorry I was late. My son had a choir concert tonight, so I kind of was obligated to drop in there. But it's done, and we're home, and I'm happy to see Rex and Santa Mel and Bob and Deanna and Julia and AJ. I mean, it's great.
Wait a minute. He's like 10 or 11 years old. Could you not have just stuck him in an Uber? Give him some real world experience, okay? Hey, anyways, let's go on to episode 32. A new Mrs. Claus who we got to meet at SOS, Diane Main, shared her inspiration to start becoming a Mrs. Claus, and she was new.
Yeah, the end.
And she's coming to North Pole Cornerstones.
She is. She sure is. How about that? You
I
know
think
what?
you guys ought to charter a bus just to drive around the United States and pick all these people up and then drop them off at Cornerstone.
That would be good.
Yeah.
We got a lot more to cover on those cornerstones as we
I'll
get
take
moving
the ride.
along here.
Thanks
Pardon?
for volunteering to drive that bus and pay for the fuel, Spangle. We appreciate you.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
It's a tough
Start in
job,
New York.
somebody's gotta do it. All right, so episode 33 was another great couple with their story and how they have a different approach in building their brand after moving to Missouri. Branson, that was Liz and Tracy Rouge. They're also coming to Cornerstone. So we had them on recently. They were on the Halloween show. We also had their show episode on, as we said. They first appeared last year at School of Santas. Everyone got to meet them. Another one of those couples that when you meet them, you fall in love with them. Quality people, fun to hang out with. And again, they have upped their game. It amazes me because when I got started, I had help, but it seems like the folks that are coming into the industry now, have really got a leg up on a lot of folks because of all the opportunities to learn. These kind of shows, podcasts, the schools that are out there, the big events, and they embraced School of Santa's last 2 years, and again, they will be at Cornerstones coming up.
You know, and she wears all these big, fancy, high-heeled shoes with snow globes in them and all of this stuff. And my favorite thing at School of Santa's last year was her and her husband walked by, and I said, "Oh, my gosh, look at them shoes." And she turned around and said, "You like those?" And I said, "No, I'm talking about his red tennis shoes."
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Nice people.
Okay, so episode 34, the ladies from the recruiting office of Cherry Hill Programs dropped by.
That's right. They come by, at least once a year. Sometimes they're on more than that. But we always try to help the recruiters out, help the Santas, Mrs. Clauses out by finding jobs and connecting folks. So they always come on, tell us what they got, and it's always a hoot. Episode 35 was me and Spangle. Yeah, that was a crazy one. And a look at Stuffer Santa's new products for the season. Sometimes when shows fall apart, we fell back on Gina a few times. This time we just thought, hey, me and Spangle gone and jibber jabber, and it still turned out to be fun. And we had a lot of good stuff to talk about that night with all the new stuff.
Pretty good show.
Yeah, it turned out well.
And there's
sometimes you have to improvise. What's that?
There's a whole bunch more new stuff coming, and the first place you'll be able to see it in person will be at Cornerstones.
Oh, man, I love that. Absolutely.
You may see some peeks of it online, but to see it in person and touch it and feel it will be at Cornerstones. All right, episode 36 was an update for Nationwide Santas with our friend Gina Bacon and her job for Santas.
She's been on several times this year. Like I say, always a pleasure to have her on.
All right, 37, we had a pleasure of being joined by Santa Kenny Blair, who showcased his wardrobes. And, man, there was some outfits there.
Yep, that's a gentleman that's up in Scott's territory, and Scott turned us on to Kenny, and another one of those folks that so quality, so humble, professional football player, played in NFL, played in the USFL, Santa, a diverse Santa, and still works at the high school, a couple of different high schools as a coach. Scott, you want to tell us a little bit more about Kenny?
Kenny's just an amazing Santa. He's been doing it a long time. I'm 20 plus years, if I'm not mistaken, Bob. And
yeah, that's what he told us.
The thing about Kenny is he's so humble. I don't know how to say anything more about him. He's humble. He has a very positive attitude. And it's all about the children for him. And there's not a whole lot more you can say about Kenny Blair. I mean, Santa Blair is his wardrobe. And somebody challenged him on the show to have 306. He's got 365 different suits. So he's taken that challenge. So hopefully we'll bring him on next year, and maybe we'll get to see some of that wardrobe and all that 365 suits. I doubt he'll have them by next year, but knowing Kenny, he might. So, his suits were amazing. But what did he say? He had like 30 or 40 suits?
It was a bunch. It's a couple of closets full and bedroom, and pretty amazing. But, he's one of those free thinkers. He thinks about, he sees something in his mind, and he rushes over to his tailor and says, "This is my idea, make it." And got a pretty good tailor to come up with some of the stuff that they've come up with.
He takes the fabric to him. He goes to the same fabric shop I go to, and he buys everything from breast cancer for his lining. And he's got a breast cancer suit that's hot pink. I mean, it wasn't on the show, but I mean, if you go to his website, you can see all that, or his Facebook page rather. His daughter, by the way, is his agent, I guess you'd say, because Kenny will tell you, I don't know where I'm going to be. I got no clue. She just tells me when to go when I go. And his grand elf, Blair, which actually his granddaughter's name is Blair, is the one that, if you get on his Facebook page, is the one that kind of has him doing the dance steps, some of the stuff he does, and you can catch him on TikTok. He's an amazing guy. So if you didn't get a chance to see the show, go over on TikTok and look up Santa Blair or over on Facebook. You'll be amazed with what the man does. He's just outstanding.
And really, how many of us Santas want to be able to do the same thing that he does? When someone says, "Hey, can you come do this event?" Talk to my agent.
Yeah, that's good. That would be a good problem to have, wouldn't it? Hey, AJ, did you watch the Kenny Blair episode?
Yeah.
What do you think about Kenny's suits? Did you like those?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any inspiration from them, maybe?
Are you going to design one like that to match yours?
Hopefully the autism suit.
Hey, AJ, did you get a picture from Kenny's sign?
Yeah, I did. I don't know what it is at the moment, but I'll send you a picture.
I knew he would send it to you. He told me he was going to get it in the mail to you the next day. So
he showed Scott and I before he mailed it to you. Pretty cool stuff, man.
Hey, Bob, who was there for 38?
Wow, man, we broke new ground with that one. That was an interview that we'd worked on for a long time, and we were asked for you, our viewers, to submit questions week in and week out. This whole season, last question was, if you could ask the real Santa Claus one question, what would it be? We used a lot of those questions. That was a fantastic show, a long show, but man, did we have fun on that. The real Santa Claus. And we had to kind of improvise there too because of some commitments that he had at the North Pole and couldn't come on at 7 p.m. like we had scheduled. And we scrambled that day before and ended up doing it in the mid-afternoon, 1 o'clock, whatever time it was that we done it. But what a cool time we had there. Could be considered one of our greatest shows.
Yeah, I really dug that one. And I was in awe of the whole show.
Yeah.
All right, we finished the season off strong as episode 39 was a crowd favorite. Our third annual roundtable panel discussion that followed Santa Claus the week before was said to have so much content and usable information back to back, and not only was the newbies, but seasoned Clauses could use. Thanks to Sean White, Lynn Rouge, Kathy Blair, Larry Shaw, Dr. Bruce Kotovich, and Rex Ray for being on our panel.
That's right. Guys, I haven't expressed this with y'all or shared it with you, but I had so many folks reach out to me after those two shows and said, there is so much there that I've learned that I'm going to be able to use in my portrayal. Santa Claus had the greatest answers, and then when it comes to the round table, quality people with great answers there too. So thank you all. Appreciate it very much. That was a great show. We always have fun with the round table, though.
Yes. Of course, everybody knows I'm a balloon artist, and I do a lot of that stuff too. And when I go to those balloon conventions, and I think, man, if I just come home with one new design, one new thing, man, the whole convention was worth it. I think every episode I get one more new thing. So this, I'm really digging the show to help you guys and to help myself.
Spangle, I think that's where you get all your ideas for the new products.
It's right here?
From the show.
Well, I told you another new one I was thinking about today.
Yeah, I know. We don't want to mention it till Cornerstones.
All right. Episode 40, a Monday night special, third annual Halloween costume show. It was a haunt. Was special fun as always.
It was, of course, I've gone back and watched it probably 3 times. I mean, I get enjoyment out of it. It's kind of like the shows like the Three Stooges or Leave It to Beaver or Gunsmoke. Those shows that every word, everything that's going to be said, but it's so entertaining. You got to go back and watch it again, and I have.
And of course, I got bailed out.
Yeah. But for me, Rex, I mean, I laugh so hard, and I laugh at Randy laughing at you, which is just a really a big hook. What do they say that to emulate someone is the greatest flattery or something of that sort? I don't know how the saying goes, but you had Randy down perfect. I mean, it was so much fun. But the whole show, everyone that came on that night, we had 11 contestants, I think, this year, and everybody thank you so much for putting on the garb. I know Santa Mel, you was fabulous. I mean, gosh, the first year the Santa, what do you call it? The skull, the sugar skull.
The sugar skull.
That took a lot of work, and I know your makeup this year took a lot of work. Thank you so much for doing it. Thank you, Rex, and thank you, AJ. We had a ton of fun.
Wait till next year when Rex comes back as the hippie Randall.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I'm coming as Spangle.
Oh man,
Spangle needs to come as a Smurf.
Mel, that's it. You come as Spangle, I'll come as Bob.
There you go.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And hey, we will have a show next year. We can't wait. All right, so that brings us to episode 41, and that is tonight. Tonight is episode 41, season 3, 120th plus shows for TNL alone, not counting the Monday show. Our entire TNL production family cannot express the gratitude we have for you, diehard live viewers, as well as those who watch the replays, buy our merch, spend your hard-earned dollars with our contributors who have stood by us for 3 seasons, now supplying support, prizes, making our shows in every way special and unique. For all the suggestions and comments, we try our best to deliver and share the best guests with you all. My hat is off to all of you. Thank you so much for being a part of TNL week in and week out.
Can we also give a big hats off to Angela?
Absolutely, and that was not going to go unnoticed. She anytime we're on the air, she's behind the computer working the boards. She makes us all look good. I mean, all the times in Gatlinburg on our road trips and Branson, and she even came to Branson this year. It was great to finally get her out and get her to meet some of the Claus family that she knows well from behind the keyboards. But yes, my hat's off to my daughter. Love her so much. Fantastic.
Well, I've been thinking ahead because I think I want to talk to Angela, maybe for a future Cornerstones class or something. See, I think she could teach all the ladies how to control Santa Claus.
Amen.
Amen.
So she does a fabulous job.
There she is. Let's see, over there.
There she is.
Mwah.
We love you, Angela. You're amazing.
Love y'all too.
You make it look
All
easy, and we all know it takes a lot of work to make something look easy. So we really appreciate what you do.
Well, a lot of the stuff that
what?
I do, she's involved with the production end of it. She's involved with the script. She's involved with everything that it takes to put these shows on. She's over here. She's my right hand lady. She's involved in it, and she's always giving me good advice. So.
Well, and Bob, we need to also take our hat off and thank Carol.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for Carol, Angela wouldn't be here, number one. Number two, Carol puts up with your shenanigans and all your crap running around the country with me to Gatlinburg and everywhere we've gone to Georgia. And, so, our big thanks should go to Carol as well.
Yeah, definitely. She knows how much time it takes to do these things, and she sometimes gets frustrated because I say, I don't have time. I've got to do this, and it's wonderful to have a lady that stands behind you and supports you. And I love my wife. We'll be together 50 years this next year. We're going to go down and hang out with Rex in Florida for a little bit, and I think Spangle and Georgetta is coming down, so we'll talk more about that when we get closer to next year. But something else to look forward to the second half of 2024.
Well, see, I think the way we can all really thank Carol is if all us guys just show up at Bob's house one weekend and finally get that siding put on the side for him.
We can do that.
Oh,
Rick.
man.
Let's go.
How about a convoy starting in San Antonio, and then we'll all move up?
Hey, there you go. I like that idea. I definitely do. All right, Spangle, let's move along. Where'd Spangle go? Oh, there he is. He's down in the corner now. Let's move along.
I think
All right.
In the corner.
Oh, there he is. Nope, there he goes. He's having internet problems.
Spangle. It's the blue beard.
It doesn't
He's
know
buffering.
which internet to be on.
Trying
Anyhow,
to figure it out.
Julia, where at Cornerstones, when you show up, I hope you have Therm apparel. You know, I have to slow down to say that. Therm apparel T-shirts for all the TNL staff in red.
Ah, okay. I will make note of that.
Yeah.
She's
Tell your
right.
husband that some old guy with a beard suggested it.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. I'll
Well,
write
I thought it
it.
was kind of a neat idea for that you know, for the Santa Claus class at schools and stuff like that you come and visit and bring your wares for. You know, it might be a neat giveaway.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I just
She's
need
right.
your sizes and I'll figure it out.
Now, you see, that's one of the things Scott is great at. Scott is great at spending other people's money.
Well, today Spangle was pretty good at spending mine. He did
Hey,
he did a
it happens.
tour of his
It
truck.
happens.
Add that. Darn.
Spangle
Oh, my
is a
goodness.
salesman, and thank goodness he's a good one, because that's what keeps us all going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure does.
Keeps
Okay,
our wallet
well-
happy, our people, our
It must be
children.
about time to do some trivia answers, isn't it, Bob?
Well, Spangle's back, so let's go on, Spangle. You ready?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you
Okay,
now.
so anyways, now I'm kind of lost. Everyone stay with us. Was we do the first Tuesday of the month. We can only mean one.
Uh-oh. One what? Don't leave us hanging. One what? One what? Oh, man. All right, so he's having trouble. Let's go ahead and move along here. Can only mean one thing. Time for Jessica Rosa to do the holiday photomagic.com drawing for the gift certificate that she promised us from the first of the year. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Did you kick Spangle out?
You know what? I wish I could.
I thought you did your emoji hoji on him and made his computer.
No.
All right, so
Who knows where he's at, you know? He's probably somewhere back in here.
you never know. Okay, so we're going to do the drawing for the Holiday Photo Magic Certificate. Jessica has taken all the winners, not just from her trivia, but all the School of Santa trivia winners and all of the Stuff for Santa's trivia winners and the Holiday Photo Magic. What did we end up with? Did you count to see what the count was, Jessica?
I did not count. I did not
That's
get
a lot of names.
And I saw AJ on there more than once.
AJ has been always a big winner. Always a big winner.
Yep, he's
Him and Charlie Johnson have run neck and neck all year long.
Hey, AJ's got the fastest fingers in the Midwest.
nothing wrong with that.
All right, so you want to talk about your drawing, and let's go ahead and do that.
Sure. Okay. At the beginning of this year, I probably should have gone back and taken a look at the video. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance. But we had talked about how I really wanted to help support somebody in the community by offering up a free or complimentary, I should never say free, a complimentary session to a Tuesday Night Live participant viewer where they can come to the studio or they can meet up with me. I have 3 opportunities that I will be traveling this next year. The first one, of course, is Cornerstones. And the second will be Lone Stars again in Texas. And then School of Santas. I wish I could travel more than that, but to be honest with you, it's a lot to travel, especially with my schedule. So I really can't travel in further more than that. So there'll be 3 traveling opportunities for me to meet up with people, but hopefully the winner will get the opportunity to come here at the studio because I provide a year-round North Pole, essentially, for people to come in and have their photos taken here at my studio.
Which she's going to give us a tour of in just a moment. We're going to do the drawing, reveal our trivia answers, and then she's going to take us on a tour. She has been working hard there at her studio, putting together scenes, getting ready for the season. She has been busy, and we want her to show us all that here coming up in a few.
Yeah. All right.
So, are you ready to do the drawing?
Yep. Do you have them all in the hat?
No, I gave them to you.
Oh, you gave them to me? Okay. Sorry.
That's why I sent them all to you. My hat was already full.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay.
Take the page, close your eyes, take a pen,
and go right down the list, right? Here we go. Okay, hold on.
No, I was saying for your drawing, you could lay it down in front of you, close your eyes, and take your pen and drop it down on it. And whatever name you landed on is your winner.
I got to pull it up on my thing here.
Okay. All right.
So hold on a second. So I'll be right back. Hold on a second.
Live streaming. Isn't it fun?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
See,
it
Bob,
is.
she spends her ink on photos, not printing scripts.
Yeah, she asked me late last night to send her the list of all the names, so I just assumed, of course, you know what that means, right? I assumed she was taking care of the drawing of the names. I guess I was wrong. She wanted me to do it.
Well, Bob, I was excited today. I had my first magazine photo shoot.
Wow, how'd that go?
So the city outlook for the town I live in had asked to feature me in the magazine for the December edition this year. So they interviewed my Mrs. Claus and myself, and then did a photo shoot on both of us today. So
well, that was fun.
I think magic worked well. I'll say that as long as he's not on here.
Don't want to let his head swell too big, right?
Rex, it looks like you've moved into your new living room.
Like I said, well, you weren't here at the beginning of the show. I'm already in my hotel room. The first hotel room I've ever had that had a dishwasher in the kitchen. So,
wow, amazing! You're all set up then.
Hey, Gina
Nice.
takes care of her Santas. I'm telling you.
That's awesome. Jessica's back.
Okay, I was able to pull up the photo, and I just did the whole blah, boom, and pointed, and came to Santa Kevin Ullum. Am I saying that right?
Ullum, Ullom.
Yes,
Yeah, Kevin.
Santa Kevin Ullum.
Ullum.
Great job, Kevin.
And his name was on there quite a bit too. He won a lot this year.
He was actually number 2 on my list. So congratulations.
Very good. That worked out great then. All right, so Kevin needs to get with Jessica.
Yep.
If you're watching, if not, we'll reach out to you. If you don't have his information, I think I probably do, but just let me know, Jessica.
I think he texted me when he won. We didn't get back with each other, so
Yes,
but I can try and
that's
reach
right.
out to him again.
Because he was your second winner. So
Yeah.
Oh.
So
all right, well, fantastic. Okay, we'll move it along because we've already been on for almost 2 hours, guys. I knew this was going to be a long show. Thanks everyone for sticking with us in the audience. Thanks for all of our guests sticking with us. Let's go ahead and reveal tonight's trivia answers real quick. Get that out of the way. SchoolofSantas.com. Last year, a time-honored holiday tradition came to an end. These holiday classics will not make a return to television screens in 2023. The exclusive rights to the franchise was purchased in 2020. The name we were looking for there was Charlie Brown Films. And the platform that has bought that out is Apple TV Plus. And our winner?
Dana Pastrollo.
Dana Pastrollo. Fantastic. Your name goes in the hat for the drawing, Dana. School of Santas. All right, stuffforsantas.com. This is good for the Tumblr. Who wrote Gremlins the movie, then went on to direct blank blank, and the first two blank blank movies, that would be Chris Columbus. The two movies were Home Alone and both the two first Harry Potter movies. Then the second part of that was, how many rules are there when it comes to Gizmo? There was 3, and they were keep away from water and never feed him after midnight. Winner?
Carl White.
Carl White wins that one. Fantastic, Carl. You're good for a tumbler. Just reach out to Spangle this week and let him know which one you want, be it Santa, SC, Mrs. Claus, or the elf. All right, and I'm going to pass it over to Julia and let her read this one, and then I'll have Angela tell you who the winner is.
All right. So in the movie The Wizard of Oz, there were 2 people that wore the ruby red slippers. Who were they? The answers are Dorothy and the Wicked Witch of the East.
That's right. And we even had a couple that went as far as to put the last name in there. Does anyone remember what Dorothy's last name was? I know that a couple of folks did. Anybody in the panel? Deanna does?
Gum. Dorothy Gum.
G-A-L-A. G-A-L-A, wasn't it, Gail?
Yes, Gum. I think it was, yes.
That was
Gail.
close. Real
I
close.
knew that. I knew it started with a G and it was 4 letters. One
Good
of my
job,
favorite
though.
movies.
And who is Julia's winner for the Thermopyro vest?
Rick Maynard.
Rick Maynard. Rick gets it.
Yay,
Fantastic,
Ricky.
Rick. You're going to love that one. Great job there, man. And reach out to Julia. She's on Facebook, Julia Crackey, Kracke. And let her know your address so she can ship you out that cooling vest, brother.
We'll get you all
And,
set up.
Rick and his wife was at School of Santas this year. First time I've got to meet Rick in person. I've known him ever since I first got into the industry. Another one of those that has lots of knowledge. If you're up in the Northeast and need someone to lean on, he's a great one to reach out to. All right. We still don't have Spangle, do we? Okay, so Jessica, take us for a short tour of your studio now and show us all the new setups for the season sessions that you put together.
Sure. I'm really excited because this year we got to incorporate 2 sets and we expanded the Mrs. Claus kitchen here, as you can see, where we're able to make it a little bit bigger. And this is kind of a shout out to Stephen Price at School of Santas. He said something about the metal table that I used to do the cookie making was a little too commercial and needed something a little bit more authentic. So I found this porcelain top table that kind of matches the kitchen stove. So it gives it a little bit more realistic kind of feel inside the kitchen. And then this was my newest set this year. I'm really excited about this one because I got, as you can see, this grandfather clock. It's a handmade, and so it was living at Habitat for Humanity. It was lived there for a couple of years, actually, because I think they just got so used to seeing it there that they forgot it was there. So I know for a fact that it's very happy being a part of Santa's new writing desk. And as you can see, he's been checking his mail. The mail's been piling up a little bit because he hasn't been in the studio as much. We've got a toy station that we've been kind of working on. So trying to put together more of a library, some toys, some books, which will be a great little setup for Mrs. Claus again, kind of what we're going to call tea time. And then, of course, moving on over to the fireside. What's great about the fireside this year is, here, I'm going to put this down for just a second so I can show you here. Again, one of those kind of serendipitous kind of moments. I got a real record player. So when they come to visit the studio, we put on a record. And instead of, I mean, it's just a little bit more nostalgic.
And what does Barry think about the music you got going there in front of him?
You know what? He keeps trying to, he snuck in a couple of records that he went and bought a few. He didn't tell me about them, but one day I was kind of going through the stack here, and all of a sudden I found a Michael Jackson's record. So he's been jamming out when I'm not up at the studio. He's been
Music
jamming.
albums frequently mentioned on the web include the classic Christmas album, because it's Christmas, In the Swing of Christmas, and others.
I would have thought for sure.
I think he got that record, that Michael Jackson record, in there because of his cousin, Steve.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt it. Definitely.
Steve's been a bad influence.
Well, Steve's definitely been an influence, of course. And then, of course, we've got another one of the desks for Santa and Mrs. Claus. They like to read their letters here. Matter of fact, you can still see a couple of, their letters that they got. That they read them and they answer them here. And then, of course, we come around to the workshop. Now, the workshop is a really fun little place because we have a variety of different things that they get to work on, like trains, and then of course the baby reindeer. I don't know if you guys recognize these guys from Little Santa, but
I recognize them.
Yes, I don't think this is Fisher. I think this is Price. That one's Fisher. They like to hang out here in Santa's workshop because, well, it's fun for them. And then, of course, now this is a gift wrapping station when the Clauses are here, but when we have our friends visiting the studio to do photos with Santa, we put together, they get to make their own personal greeting cards. And of course, we have stickers and glue-ons and stuff like that. It's just a fun activity that they get to do while they're visiting the North Pole. And then, here we go. Here are a couple. Now, you might recognize these guys, but these are not the same reindeer that were at School of Santa's. This is Atlas and Apollo. They're hoping to one day get on the big team, but they've been working on it. And then, of course, we have the sleigh. And
I see a bucket full of snowballs.
Oh, yeah. This is my buddy, and he's been over here packing some snowballs because, we got a little snowball fight that that might happen, soon, maybe in February. So, so this is the whole studio for this year's sessions.
That's quite the setup there. Wow.
Wow.
You have really been busy and outdone yourself.
I thought for sure when you showed Barry's favorite album that this was going to be his favorite Christmas album.
Barry Manilow. You know what?
Actually, Spangle, that was Barry's mother's favorite, and that's why she named him Barry.
The classic Christmas album, Barry Manilow.
Don't tell him, but it might be in his Christmas stocking.
Ah.
There you go.
Well, that's got to be a big stocking.
No, it would be like a little thing inside the stocking that says "Go find the bigger present." You know,
There you
that
go.
makes it more of a game.
Trickery. Hey, Barry likes trickery. I know that for sure.
Well, he does like to play games.
He does. He sure does.
He's known for being a little mischievous.
Yeah, Dave was embarrassed at School of Santa's.
Of course, you know, him and Steve would constantly get into trouble. So, you know, that's how it goes.
Got to keep them two apart. That's for sure. Well, Jessica, you've done a fantastic job there. Thank you so much for the tour. What a great setup. Now, guys, if you want to get some professional photos done, you have the time to travel to Springfield, Missouri. Jessica's there 365 days a year.
Yes, this is where I
Pretty
live.
much.
When she's not in San Antonio.
Yeah, there you go. So,
But the studio is always there.
Yes.
And guys,
fantastic.
Not there. I got the keys.
That was a mistake.
Hey guys, I don't know
Alright.
what was going on my end. I had to reboot my computers, reboot my internet, everything. It's just, but I think I'm here.
It happens. It happens. All right, so Jessica, you and Spangle are two of the vendors that we will have in San Antonio at North Pole Cornerstones in February. You are offering a different experience from what you've done in the past schools and events. Can you explain to everyone your new approach that you will roll out and offer at MP Cornerstones this year in February?
Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, this year again was an overwhelming year again. You know, I'm really blessed to have as much of a demand and a response for my work. You know, I can't thank the community enough. The problem is it's just a lot of work. You know, I did over 35 sessions this year, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when 25 of them were on location, and then they were all stacked on top of each other, and then of course, you know, last year I did an event that did not go very easy for me, and it ended up creating a lot more work. So I actually started the year off being behind like 20 sessions. So that first quarter of the year I spent just working on those sessions all together. So this year, you know, I've delivered probably close to 50 sessions overall. But when you have, you know, 75 of them, you know, in the hopper and doing all that stuff, and then plus I also do business cards and a lot of other things, and I just want to be able to not live at a computer because unfortunately I get up in the morning, and I know this sounds crazy, but I get up in the morning and I edit images, and then I take care of my family. I run errands. You know, I'm the only one that takes care of my business. And this year I even had to rethink my whole bookkeeping system because the way that I've been doing my bookkeeping in the past didn't work, you know, so I had to restructure everything. So going forward this next year, I've made the decision that I'm still going to attend all the events, but I'm going to bring information to where I can just share about the experience here at the studio. I'm really blessed with the fact that people make coming to my studio a big event. Matter of fact, I've got a session next week with a Santa Claus, Santa and Mrs. Claus that are coming from up north. And or no,
where else would Santa come from but up north?
Yeah, they're from, I think they're from Texas actually. Sorry. But you know, the first day that when they get here, we're going to sit down and, you know, go over all of their attire and things, and we're going to talk about what their goals are and kind of give me time to kind of think about how to serve those goals for them. Then then in the morning, he's going to come here. And I've got a lady that does facials and beard care. She's a barber, and she's going to come to the studio and do what we call a glow up and make it to where Santa's all fresh and, you know, where his beard has been trimmed. So like no stray hairs, you know, all those little hairs that are in the, you know, the mouth line, we can take care of all that. And then plus it's just to pamper our Santas. And then of course, Mrs. Claus, if she's wanting, we've got, we can have somebody come in, as well to do, you know, a facial for her as well. But, and then we'll do the photo shoot following. And then the next day they'll come back and we'll take a look at the photos. Now we're making it a 3-day event with them, because that works out for them, because they're going to go down to Branson, afterwards, and to a little Santa store north from my studio as well, called
Stuff for Santa.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So they're going to be able to, you know, come see me and come and see, you know, the Santa store. So Stuff for Santa store. So when we're at North Pole Cornerstone, what we're going to do is we're going to put up a headshot booth, and then so that way I can still provide headshots, which is something that every Santa Claus needs, whether it's updating your headshot or updating your profile. We can do that high quality headshot. Matter of fact, I saw one of my headshots here just a second ago. Mel, can you turn off your camera for just a second?
Sure. For 1 second here.
That's one of my headshots.
And now wait a minute, Jessica. Didn't you do headshots at Gatlinburg?
I did full shots.
Because
Yes.
I could swear I heard you walking around throwing snowballs going, headshot!
I always have a snowball. Always have a snowball. Thank you, Mel. I appreciate it.
No problem. I love this.
Yeah. So what's nice about having a headshot, now headshots are something that I can do relatively easy, and it doesn't take as much time as doing a full, you know, a full image, a digital composite image and stuff like that. So this allows me to be able to get the work done in a much more condensed period of time. And then I can also work with my brother, who has a background in video production. And we're going to put together a video sound booth to where you can come in to our sound booth, where you're going to have phenomenal lighting, phenomenal sound, and good background. Matter of fact, if you follow me on TikTok, you might even see a couple of the videos that we did when we were at an event last year in Atlanta. We rolled out the concept of it and just tried it out, you know, and we did some videos, and there are some Santas that are just so happy with it that they're using it on their social media, TikTok, Instagram. You know, it's video is definitely the way to go to engage.
Don't tell everything now. Save some of it for there.
It's definitely a way to engage a younger audience. So those are the couple things that we're going to bring out at North Pole. And so next year, and then also when you're there at the events, I will offer gift certificates for sessions here at the studio that I will not offer anywhere else. So if you come to the event, you have to be signed up at the event. You cannot purchase the gift certificate outside of the event. That would allow you a discounted rate at coming here at the studio.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, hey, it's like almost that time. And I want you to know that next year You need to do what I have done already, okay? Set your alarms for next year, Tuesday Night Live, February 20th, 2024, 7 p.m. Get it on your phone. Set your alarm. Season opener, season 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so great. Wow. Season 4. This is amazing.
But wait, it even gets better than, well, I don't know if it gets better than this, but it gets pretty doggone good, because 2024 season opener for the Monday show with Bob and Randall, February 19th at 3.
That's right.
2
That's
days
right.
in a row.
Yay.
Season premiere for both those shows. Set those dates on your calendar. February 20th, February 19th, the day before Monday. Fantastic. All right, so I was kind of going to run through some stuff here as far as North Pole Cornerstone goes, but I think I'm going to turn it over to Deanna, then Rex, and then Scott, and kind of let them fill you in on what is happening. I know we've talked a lot about North Pole Cornerstones tonight, but that is the next big event once we get through our Santa season. And after all, we have put a lot of effort into making it unique. So, Deanna, you're first.
Well, thank you very much, Bob, and hello and good evening, everybody. Real quickly, some of the things that you'll want to know about. First, we've published the schedule. We've got a really interesting, really fantastic curriculum that we are building, and it's built around the 3 cornerstones, the real pillars of being a great clause: history of being a clause, the performance side of being a clause, and the business side of being a clause. And we've said before that we're building all of these sessions to be very interactive, with a lot more conversation and a lot less slides. So you're not going to see this real heavy PowerPoint presentations. So you'll have lots of time to practice all of the things that you're doing. The North Pole Cornerstones is also offering a scholarship. Those applications will be open through November 30th. Everything that you need you can find on npcornerstones.com. And we are really excited about seeing everyone come. We've got a nice group of people, and so we hope to see you there. Meals are included, just about every meal's included, a really cool Saturday night activity at the famous Riverwalk. And I think that's probably what I can just leave it. I can leave it at that and let Rex take it over from there.
Well, I'm not going to say a whole lot here because I know how long the show has gotten tonight. Isn't that shocking? Spangle, I know that's unusual for me, but guys, understand there's been a lot of work going into this. This is a whole new curriculum. This is not pulling from Sat Bob's and pulling from Santa Ana Holiday University. We've worked really hard to make this all new. Come be prepared to stand up in front of the group and perform. We're going to record you. We're going to give you the recording so you can critique yourself and see how you do. Something you don't usually get to do very often. We're hoping to make it very unique.
Mm-hmm. Scott, you're in charge of audio, video, and lighting. How's that coming? You're muted. Unmute.
Yeah, maybe we need to get somebody else for audio.
Hey, maybe this is a good thing.
He never sounded better.
Folks, this is going to be a production that you've never seen at any other school. And it's not just for new Santas, and it's not for old Santas. It's for all Christmas performers. And everybody will, I promise you, will take something away from it. So get on npcornerstones.com and sign up, because I look forward to seeing everybody there, as well as Bob, Rex, and Deanna, and myself, Chrissy Kovac, and Judy.
I know I'm going to take something from it. I'm probably going to take one of them fancy new lights that Scott got.
You can also follow us on Facebook, North Pole Cornerstones on Facebook.
That's right. Exactly. All right.
And
so
unlike a lot of schools, there's going to be vendors. Not every school has vendors.
Something else that we finally got to go ahead on today. If you want to mention that, Deanna, our charity that we're going to be working with?
Yes. We worked with a couple of local plazas who know that and understand their community better than anyone else. And so they have recommended and we agree we're going to use the Roy Moss Youth Alternatives organization. They do residential services and counseling for the underserved children and their families. And so we're going to be doing donations and we're going to be asking them to come and tell us a little bit about their program. So Clauses know how to give back to their communities and we're really, really excited to be able to help out the Roy Moss Youth Alternatives program. Thank you, Bob.
I think that's a organization that we can all wrap our teeth around and help the youth out down there in San Antonio. Something that we talked about from the very get-go when we started planning this a year ago was that we wanted to make sure that we did something for the community while we were down there. So fantastic. Thank you, Rex. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Deanna. Spangle, give us a quick update on School of Santas. Are you sold out yet?
Well, we're not sold out, but I mean, we are so close to being sold out. We're going to take a few extra because you always have a couple cancellations. Man, it's just going to be a party. I mean, everybody knows, and get your lights flashing, and we're going through town raising heck.
Sounds like fun. You got any closing thoughts, Spangle?
Man, I got a whole list of closing thoughts, but I'm going to save them for myself, guys. And it's all thoughts or quick thoughts that I got from this show.
And Bob, I'll add also the Cornerstones is you have 1, 2, 3, basically 3.5 vendors on the show tonight that will be at North Pole Cornerstone. Sturm Apparel, Jessica Rosa with Holiday Photo Magic, and the guy with the blue beard with stuff for Santa, as well as Rex Ray's daughter, Rhonda. So,
and they were here.
And that's fancylease.com. So
and that's just a portion of the vendors that we have lined up. We got a whole room full of vendors. So
what do we got? 12 Rex, I think.
Yeah. And they're all listed on the website as well. If you want to know who all the vendors are.
I think we have more than a room full, don't you?
Yes.
We have
2
rooms.
We do. Actually, we've got 2 vendor rooms set up.
Yeah.
Vendors are going to have as much space as the classroom does.
That's right.
So mark your calendars, 2, 3, and 4 February, San Antonio, Texas, where the cornerstones are laid.
And everything is on the website, mpcornerstones.com. Go over and check it out. If you have any questions, reach out to any of us that we've mentioned. All right, Spangle.
All right. Yeah, as yet another show. Am I in the right place? No.
Nope.
And Mrs. Claus and Santas and Julia, thank you for joining us tonight. It's a great show. Every show is a great show. We appreciate you all.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much for your time. I know it's been a long show. Just want to mention fancylease.com one more time. Help support those folks and help support the channel by making purchases over. We got a list here that we do want to go through real quick. Thank you so much for 2023. Looking forward to working with most of you again in 2024. SchoolofSantas.com, StuffForSanta.com, HolidayPhotoMagic.com, ThermApparel.com, FancyLease.com, NPCornerstones.com. Mention Sat Bob School at Yahoo.com. Our website is down, has been since before Gordon passed. We'll get that resolved after the first year. Santa Nanas, HolidayUniversity.com, SantasCloset.org for the Monday show, our exclusive supplier for all trivia questions over there. And we want to reach all the way back to season 1 and say thank you so much to Derek Dugan and Sleigh Driver Apparel for everything that he gave to the show while he was part of the contributor. All right. Don't forget us, Tuesday Night Live Show, 1225 on our YouTube channel, Bob and Randall Live Preview Show. Go over and catch a show or 3 if you got a chance during the holidays and you're wanting to watch a past show. Good time to do it. All right, Spangle. Now then,
as yet another show and season comes to an end, we want to thank each and every one of you, and happy closing.
That's right. Tell everyone good night, Spangle.
Good night, Spangle.
All right. Everyone, thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to all the audience. Good night, all. Remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live each week, starting, as we said, the 19th and 20th of next year. Same close time, same close channel. Count your blessings, not your sorrows. May your troubles be small, but your blessings be large. Have a blessed week and season. Everyone, please be safe. Put lots of smiles on the children's faces. We love you all. Thank you so much. Until next time, on behalf of our special guest tonight, Deanna Golden, Rhonda and Michael Landon, Julia Cracky, the one and only AJ Bayless, that's right, and our whole TNL production crew, Spangled, the Clown, Jessica Rosa, Rex Ray, Melissa Lynn Rickard, Randy Wagner, Angela Scott, and myself. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I am Santa Bob McMaster saying good night. Good night, all, and we'll see you next year.
Bye, Santa AJ.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas and have a
Merry
great
Christmas.
season, everyone.
And a happy new year.
Ho, 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 ho.